Well, welcome to the second part of my garden tour. These are my lilacs. These are a boomerang from Proven Winners, and they are in full bloom right now. And the butterflies and the pollinators are absolutely just covering them. I have them right here next to my front door, and the smell on them is amazing. I wish you guys could smell the lilacs. So boomerang, this one reblooms later in the summertime, but definitely not as heavy as this is. This is definitely the heaviest that it blooms. And like you said, so you can see the pollinators, bees and butterflies are all over it, moths, everything. So some of the swallowtails. Well, now we'll just kind of move on to some of my maples. So kind of out here in the yard. Let's see. This is my Deodar cedar filling blue. Put on some bunch of new growths and kind of sticking it up. Here is my sad looking Tamukeyama. The D or whatever reason just came through. Let's see if we can get it to focus, and just ate all of the leaves off of it, which is why I have some caging around it to kind of help protect it a little bit. They went through, and some of my japonicums that are out closer into the woods, they ate like every single leaf off of. So hopefully I gave them some fertilizer, so hopefully they'll those japonicums will come back. So here's the Tamukeyama, so you can get to focus on the leaves. This one for me holds its red all summer. This is there's a reason why this one's very popular and it's been around for hundreds of years. It's definitely like that for good reason. So this red is definitely one of the best red lace leaves for holding that color. Next to it I have my Sango Kaku. Still got some of that bright red bark with the green leaves on it. This one, I just wish these coral barks would just stay this color as they mature. I know as they mature they start to lose some of this red bark and it becomes more grayed out, but right now when they're young, when these leaves first come out vibrant green against that red bark, it's amazing. And then the fall colors of this yellow against the red bark is also pretty stunning. A couple more winter casualties. That was my Roman candles, Portocopris. We had an 8-degree night, and I think these are zone 8 hardy, and I'm in zone 7. So I'll be kind of pushing the limit on that one. So I might try and give it some fertilizer to see if it will leaf back out. Here's my Himi Sojo. I did a scratch test on it. Unfortunately, it also did not survive. But my Flamethrower Redbud is just starting to push out the leaves. So these come out like this really bright, vivid red. Let's see if we can get one. Let's see if we can get the focus. Really bright red, and then they fade to an orange and then a yellow. So hopefully in the next probably week or so, this one will be completely leafed out. And this, for the first time this year, actually had some flowers on it. So let's see. So the Flamethrower, every year I've kind of had it too. It kind of holds the color a little bit longer. So it's definitely, hopefully it'll hold it more. Usually it holds the color for me into early July, so hopefully it kind of holds that a little bit longer. And originally they said it was going to be upright, but this is definitely more of a spreading type shape. So we'll see. If you don't have a flamethrower, I definitely recommend this if you can get the focus on these leaves. They're there, the heart-shaped leaves. And then let's see, a couple camellias. That's my October Magic Orchid, I believe. Is that what that camellia is? Some kids play equipment. Over here is my Seiryu, looking really pretty. These leaves are really, I just love the green, the bright green of the spring color of the Seiryu, and then the fire engine red that they turn into the fall. This thing got as a 1 gallon. This thing will fill this space pretty quickly. It's a pretty fast growing tree, upright. It should probably get 20 feet or so in the next 10 years. So it'll definitely fill that space right there. Kind of panning back around. This garden over here. Kind of work our way down towards this garden over here. So some of these definitely got a lot of frost damage. For those who didn't watch the first video, we had 2 or 3 weeks that were in the 70s and 80-degree temperatures, and then we got a 28-degree night after like 3 or 4 days in the 80s. And you can see my Mila, even though I covered it, definitely got some frost damage on it, but okay, it's big enough, it'll recover. I gave it some liquid fertilizer to kind of help it out. But if you haven't, this is like the fresh spring color. So those of you who have never seen the spring color of Mila, they come out like this really bright red, and then they get that green veining in them, and it kind of holds that the rest of the year. But then you get like these flushes on top of it during the summertime. This tree is outstanding year-round, just because this amazing color. So if you don't have a Mila, it's upright. It grows pretty good. You can see some of the, this probably grew 2 feet or so last year, so definitely is happy and likes this spot. Hopefully some of these, when it gets the secondary flush, it'll push off some of the these burnt leaves that had, even though I covered it with a frost cloth. But I'm just going from mid 80s and low 60s at night to a 28-degree night. We'll do that. Here's some of my peonies that are about to bloom. This one I believe is Shirley Temple, so that will be like a white with some specks in it. Lemon Twist, I think is what that one's called, or kind of like Miss Lemon, I think is another name for the trademark version of it. This one took, unfortunately, a lot of damage. This is my really big Baldsmith. You can just see a lot of damage on it. It should be fine. Luckily it's big enough that it can take some of that damage. But you can see, like, usually a good sign of frost damage is like the leaves, how all of a sudden it just shoots way out. That's usually a good fortunate sign that it took some damage. I gave this one some fertilizer too, so hopefully it'll recover. But you can see some of the really pretty color, multicolored, not quite green, not quite red, kind of orangish colors of Baldsmith. And this one for me holds its color better than a lot of the other ones. What Nog and Chantilly Lace and Pink Filigree. I think Pink Filigree, I will say, holds its color better in the shade. But for this one, this one gets about 5 hours of morning sun. Does a really good job of holding this orangey-ish color throughout the year. Let's see, we go this way. So past my Mila again. Here's another peony that's about to bloom. This one is Catarina Fauna, I think is what it's called. It's another white one, and then there's another peony back there. That's the Sarah Bernhardt. That's a really nice baby pink. And this one here is my Burma Bridge, I think is what it's called, or let me see if I can find the tag. I think it's Burma Bridge or something along that line. Some years Brema bridge. Some years it gets that pink color, kind of like Bald Smith and Chantilly lace. This year it kind of more of a green. Once again, you can kind of see some frost damage kind of on the top where the cloth was on it. So this one, like I said, it's big enough, it'll recover. I gave it a little bit of liquid fertilizer, so it should be good to go in a couple weeks or so. But you can see it kind of leaves out green, and then it kind of adds the blush to it later on. So it's slightly different than Bald Smith. Another peony. I got that one from a relative. She wasn't sure what type it is, but it's more of a Japanese anemone style. So it's bright red with yellow stegmens in the middle. It's really pretty. This is my Benishien. Once again, got a lot of frost damage, this whole area. Just because I don't think it's not covered by any of the trees. Got the frost damage, but you can see the leaves that were fine, starting to get that variegation in it that Benishien is known for. So once again, hopefully it will, this one should recover pretty nicely. Back here is my giant autumn moon. This one I got as a small 1 gallon, believe it or not, maybe 4 years ago, and this thing is probably 7 feet tall already. So for me, every year it leaves out this green, and then as the sun hits it, then it starts getting the blushing that it's known for. So it's just starting to get that on some of the leaves. So probably in the next week or two, all the leaves will be this amazing orange color that they're starting to turn here on the leaves. But even if it doesn't, this is like a really highlighter yellow. You know, one of my favorite trees. Definitely always in my top 5. Actually, these two, Mila and then Autumn Moon. So my first tree was a Red Dragon, kind of my entry into Japanese maples, and this was my second tree, Autumn Moon. And that's what really got me into Japanese maples once I figured out that, oh, there's something more than just a red lace leaf. This one here is my Edgewood. Actually, this one took little to no damage on it. There's a couple of leaves here or there, like there's a leaf kind of right there that took some damage, but being in the same spot, this thing is a bulletproof tree. If you can find an Edgewood, I highly recommend it. Here in Virginia, it holds up really well to the summer heat. As you can see, even with my son's Nerf guns firing all around them, this Edgewood holds up really well, and the leaves are pretty. It does green up. It doesn't hold this red as well as other ones, but the leaves don't look tired in the fall. And I think the late great Tom Cox said this was one of his favorite lace leaves for that reason, and I agree with them. Here, even in Virginia, it holds up really well. This one here is my it's called the Snowflake. Let me see if I can see what the actual name is. Komodo. Well, there's Nagishi. Those who've watched some of my videos in the past, I'm terrible with pronouncing Japanese names. But this one has such a unique leaf on it, which is why it's called the Snowflake. You can kind of see some of the leaves right there. They don't take the traditional palmatum, even though it is a palmatum Japanese maple. They don't take that shape. And then over here we have my Chantilly lace, and this one also took a lot of damage. Luckily, some of these lower leaves seem to be doing fine, but definitely anything kind of up top took a lot of damage in that 28-degree night. So hopefully this one will recover. Chantilly lace, it does pretty well holding the color, but definitely greens up. And then we'll kind of end the tour over here with my Summer Gold. So this one for me leaves out more of a chartreuse type green, and then as the sun hits it, it gets more this yellow. So kind of different than Jordan. Jordan for me leaves out yellow and then kind of fades to a chartreuse. This one leaves out chartreuse and then becomes more yellow as the summer goes on, hence the name. So thank you for joining me on this tour of my garden. This is part 2. I'll have to do maybe a part 3 and a part 4 of more of the woodland and the driveway garden, so you can kind of see the maples all kind of spread out through there. A lot of cages around them because they're kind of small, and like I said, the deer like to munch on them this time of year, especially the japonicums and apparently my Tamukeyama. But something to kind of look forward to. I'll give you a tour hopefully in the next couple days of this area. Thanks for joining me on this tour, and we'll catch you guys next time.